So maybe meanwhile we just talk, right, rather than keeping quiet. So what's the class is all about? What is the, subject of this class? Can somebody tell me?
Uh, the class is basically on foundations of entrepreneurship. We were taught how to read balance sheet and then like various uh, qualities of an entrepreneur and
Mm-hmm.
how to get funding and
Okay.
various other things related to entrepreneurship.
Okay. Okay.
Welcome, Pritham.
Oh, hello, sir. Good morning.
I went to receive a courier. Just suddenly it arrived. Sorry about that.
No problem.
So I'll just give a brief introduction. I already sent a mail to the students talking about
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everybody. We have today with us Mr. Pritham Prasoon. He's talking from Vienna, Austria. He is our very own from IIT KGPN, and he completed his MTech, I think, in 2015.
Yes.
And during his stay at IIT, he actually started multiple startup. That is the most amazing part of him, and that is how he is so relevant for students at IIT Kharagpur. That while staying at IIT Kharagpur, you can actually start multiple startup, complete your graduation, and then you can become a successful entrepreneur. In fact, whatever he has been doing now, that is a very different company, and his company is a mini multinational, and it's just slowly emerging as a true multinational. That is our expectation that soon it will be a multinational. He's already in Europe, and he's getting he's catering to companies like, say, Alliance, which is a big company based out of Europe. Then TUB Nord is another company. They have presence in 100 countries. Dr. Reddy's, you all know, Dr. Reddy is one of the most prestigious pharmaceutical company in our country, in the world. So he has been catering to them, and MMGY Global. I'm not much familiar with that part, but now he's flooded with offers. In fact, now he's feeling kind of overwhelmed with job offer, not job offer, meaning project
Right.
offers. Yesterday only he was talking to me that we are kind of we do not know how to manage this growth. So that is truly a dream for any entrepreneur, that there are so many jobs I'm not able to manage them, like how many to take, and then whether we fail to deliver, and then whether we should reject any offer and then later repent. Whatever that is, he has been doing wonderfully well, and Pritham is here to share his experience so that you can get to know how to think about all of that and how to move forward with his experience. I'll not take too much of time, Pritham. uh, Podium is yours.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much, sir, for the kind introduction.
Okay, I just
Mm,
forgot to mention, I'm associated with Pritham for a long time. During his
yeah.
IIT days, he started companies. He participated in Egiye Bangla, that was a pan-India competition, and he went up to the final. So I was associated with him all through. So I'm really proud that my associate has become so successful. Thank you. Okay.
So, okay, I'm overwhelmed now with the introduction. Sir is so kind. It's not that big, but I'll explain step by step how it has been done and what actually I have been doing and trying to do. So yes, I started multiple initiatives during my stay in KGP, and that was that was mostly try and fail thing because um, let me start with my inspiration. Okay, so the moment, in fact, I entered KGP. You enter through the main gate, and then in right side you have Rajendra Mishra School of Entrepreneurship. Okay, this word itself, entrepreneurship, is kind of very catchy. And during my time when I was entering, it was very like it was a dream always there. Wanted to do something of my own, And also it was inspired my previous careers. So many of you are doing and privileged enough to do BTech from institute like IIT. I did it from somewhere which is tier 3 college in Bhopal, and it was a mixed experience. I won't say that was a very but it was all, it involves a learning, right? I went to a company which is a service-based company, TCS, the mass recruiter. Did not get much to do there, and then preferred to resign there and join a very small startup in Hyderabad. So when I joined this startup, that was the kind of exposure I get there, which helped me to understand the overall flow of project building. And then I had a couple of ideas, and I was very much inspired with educational edtech, educational startups. So in early days, like all of them were very much focused around education. In fact, the one which sir is talking about, this AGA Bangla competition, there also I proposed a solution which can be utilized to provide a quality education to remotest area of our country. So that was based on this I would, how should I present? So we called it TUSM, Torrent Upload and Syncing Mechanism. So it was like you can deliver lectures using this torrent protocol, if you are aware of torrent. So using torrent protocol, where large size media file can be delivered in packets. Okay, so that was the main idea. And during those days, you didn't have this exposure of internet, which I mean, which is before and after this geo world. I mean, when geo started, we had this 3G internet to the, I would say, remotest part of our country now. So earlier we had 2G network, and we were successfully able to deliver good quality material, etc., using this 2G. Of course, there was a delay; it was not real time. So this was something we started again. One of the, and this again, just to finish this part. So we started. It was good. We got some traction as well with Egi Bangla, and we also implemented this particular technique in the school which is inside our campus. It's towards, I would say, the old jail, which is, there is a school Disa Seema, if you know. I mean, so there we implemented, and they had many unused tablets with them, which they got with maybe some funding or somebody donated. So we started like we created this network, and they were able to deliver. I mean, get lectures and courses using this small application which we had created. So it was quite well, but again, the major miss I think was having a lack of business model. Okay, and that was I would say my biggest mistake during early days, that I was too focused on tech or getting the things done, or maybe on the operation side. I did not think where to earn the money. And during, when you are doing it, you don't care much about money. But when you want to scale, you want more people to join you. They need a salary, right? So you can't hire possibly a group of intern without providing the stipend. So that's where this particular part, coming up with a business model was not quite handy with me. I was not good at it. And uh, similarly, we started another initiative, which is Techted.com. That's still going on. It's not dead yet. But again, during I started it in my very first year, and there also we got good traction. Like, um, I mean, this I'm talking about when we started. It was the same time Unacademy was starting. Okay, I think probably we created initial few videos before them. but but our plan was different. Again, we were more focused on contribution and education without being money involved much, like non-profit way. And again, that was not successful. So being money minded is very important. You always have to think from where you are going to get money. Okay, how you are going to pay your team. Okay, how you are going to scale. So that was again a failure there, and that could not do well. One of the startup I would say we did was RTware, and that was quite successful. It's not yet running, but again, that was quite successful. I mean, during our first year, we crossed the revenue of 1 CR, being there in the college itself. So the idea was that you get design from various artists, and then get the design printed over the t-shirt. Okay, as simple as that. I mean, you have many I think Alma Mater store is one of the very widely used one. So we had this concept that the artists has to be involved socially, and they should be getting a cut of every cell. And that was quite okay, quite good, and we could have scaled. Somehow I personally I find that I could not find much interest over there. And um, and and somehow after 2 years we made some profit, definitely. But um, there was a point where a lot of challenges were there. For example, we were up on various marketplaces like Amazon, Flipkart, and I think also on Myntra, and we were getting a lot of return. Okay, and then managing return was a big challenge. I mean, you cannot possibly match all the SKUs and keep the track of particular size, etc., and the design. And there is a very less probability that the same size, same design with same t-shirt color, you are going to get another order. Okay, so mapping that order with your return store and then shipping it will take another time. And with these marketplaces, you also have a SLA. If you breach that SLA, you get bad ranking, and also the your rank in the search result will also go down. So these were major challenges, but of course, I mean, but still we were making profit. uh, uh, this was the same time I was like traveling, and I met one of my previous one of a friend, which with whom in fact I started learning tech, etc., during my college. He was 2 years senior than me, and we came closer, and we discussed various possibilities what we could do, etc. One of the strong background both of us were common with was this technology, Drupal. Okay, I'm not sure how many of you know Drupal. If I have to give you a one-liner, it's basically a developer's content management system. So if you want to, let's say, compare it with WordPress, but more flexibility than WordPress. WordPress is better for building, and end user site, or if, let's say, if you want to build a blog or a simple application. Not simple, I mean, WordPress can be used to build any sort of application, but the flexibility you get with Drupal is much more advanced. So it's a competitor of Adobe Experience Manager, I would say. So Adobe has this big product, which is Adobe Experience Manager, which is kind of competitor. So this particular technology, we both had this background, and we thought, why not we start work for services. Now I'm talking about two different, complete two different sectors. I mean, two different part of the same sector, I would say. So so one way you are working for a product, you are very much focused to shape a product, right? You are completely into it. Another part of the world is services. So you get requirement from the client, you quote a price, and then once, let's say, agreement is signed, you work to deliver it. So that was completely another thing. But we saw that there is an opportunity, right? There are big tech companies in services as well, and services has different curve of growth. Product has different, right? So we still had this idea that we have to do product, but why not start small with services to make sure that the bread and butter is not at risk. So so in 2016 and I would say 17 it was when we started. uh, we were just three people when we started in Delhi in a co-working space. And now the challenge was, how do we get project, right? How do we kind of compete with other organizations which are very much stable? So, so this was the benefit of targeting a very niche technology, that is Drupal. So we researched over Drupal, .org, the site, the main site itself, and we try to understand how can we get listed as a company over here, and how can we come first when somebody is searching for a Drupal service provider company. Okay, so there was a new thing coming up there, which was marketplace. Marketplace is list of all the companies who provide services in maybe globally, you can say, and of course user can filter by country or the area of expertise. So, and this ranking is done um, on the basis of how much you contribute towards this open source technology. By the way, I probably forgot to mention that Drupal is a open source technology, and in terms of number of contribution, it is even bigger than Linux. Number of contributors. So yeah, so there was this marketplace coming up, but we were just three people, right? And how to do so big contribution so that you can come up, right? We figured out a hack. Um, that was the time when PHP version 7 was, coming up. So earlier PHP 5.3 was used and it was being upgraded. So when you upgrade the version of the programming language itself, you have many more functions or many more APIs which will be deprecated. Okay, so so it was very easy to kind of use a tool and find out a very, let's say for example there is a API, let's say I would say SQL select. Okay, now this is being deprecated and no more it will be supported in PHP 7. So it's very easy to kind of search where it is being used inside the entire code base of Drupal. So similar hacks we found, which was very easy to kind of fix, and at the same time you contribute a patch. Once approved, it will be approved because of course it is being deprecated. Okay, so there is no risk over there, and then once it is approved, you get a credit. So suddenly we came on the first page. I mean, within I would say 1 month of our hard work. I mean, of course, it requires hard work as well. So, so we took 1 month. We were on the first page globally, and then we started getting small leads. I mean, I still remember our one of very first project was a very simple lab project. Is it was Sparkle Labs, and the project was so dirty. I mean, it was already done by some freelancer. It was so dirty we were not able to complete it, honestly. I mean, it was a complete rebuild, but we were so desperate for the project that we took it, but we couldn't deliver it. Okay, and eventually after executing for some time, when we had more important projects, we had to drop, like, okay, we cannot do it. So 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 that was the initial days of struggle. And when you start getting project, you have money coming in, and then you can of course your cash flow is positive, and then you can hire more people. So it was always the idea to rely on intern, because we felt that first of the thing is that they're very new to this world, and you can put some effort and then you can shape them as you want, right? So we started hiring interns, and we spent another few a couple of months, and few interns were ready to work, and that's when we started getting actual projects. So if I talk about um, when we started and when we had our first project, it was journey of roughly 5-6 months. So that's also very important, that you always count on even a very simple positive improvement, okay, so that you don't lose motivation, and also you keep focused on what is the next goal. So always break. And this, I mean, it's not my philosophy. I read it somewhere that you always should have two things. One is that major ultimate goal, and then you break it into milestones, right? So that's what we did. Like, we had this goal that we should start getting big size project, but the milestones were very small milestones, like having good rank over marketplace, starting with small projects and delivering it successfully so that you get good customer feedback. So these were some of the initial ideas, and I mean, that's how it kicked off. And then we started hiring people, scaling our team. We changed office two times just because the office were getting smaller. So, so eventually, I mean, before COVID, that was another milestone when we crossed our 1 million US dollar revenue milestone. And now, this year also, I mean, even after COVID, I'm expecting it should be 100% growth, at least in terms of revenue. It's not yet finalized, but yeah. And the challenge right now is, as Sir was mentioning, in fact, I was discussing that. I mean, if I show you some of maybe my screen, just to show you what I'm talking about, the marketplace. So I always keep it open. This is the marketplace, okay? This is globally on Drupal.org. And when you go to service, Drupal services, you see we are ranking globally third here. Okay. And this is globally. In India, of course, we are first. So, and this company, Ocvia, is founded by the founder of Drupal. Okay. So they have pretty strong, grab over the community, I would say. But we are still targeting that we should, at least come to second. So this is what I'm talking about. And let's say everyone, I mean, whoever is looking for Drupal service, they will come here, right? Of course, first they will come here and they will check the companies like who are providing services, and they will reach to these companies. So this is roughly, I mean, we have been always in top 10, but we strongly invested again in contribution. We found some internal, mechanism how to appreciate people for doing, spending time over contribution and contributing patches. So now the situation is that these are, for example, Srijan is very big company. They started, I guess, before I started my engineering career. So they were in, I think it's 2004 or so. They are in this field, and it's an Indian company, and they're pretty good. I mean, but my point is that you can always, I mean, if you put the effort in right direction, you can outsmart even the people with more experience than you. So, so now the situation is that we have started getting very good leads. Okay, um, the company right now, companies we are working with is, for instance, Allianz is the largest insurance company. I think it's globally. I mean, of course, in India, it's very small because it has collaboration with Bajaj Allianz. You must have heard. But we recently built loyalty system for them. Dr. Reddy's is something, the company we have onboarded few months ago, and we have sold them one of our product. Okay, so this is the second story. So I was talking about services. So services is now quite, I would say, stable. We can anticipate our cash flow. We can anticipate how many, new people we need in our team, how many project managers we have to hire. So that is kind of uh, in that mode where we can anticipate. Um, so this is somewhere, in some of the conference I heard. So Infosys has this 1 year product projection that, how much of the revenue they are going to get in the next year, how many people they need to hire, etc. Okay, so because they have all this sorted, and it's not like, they have their pipeline of clients ready, they have projects ready, and they have estimates ready. So so now we are in that mode where we are kind of getting many requests, many requests for proposals, and we are trying to kind of scale our team as well. And scaling is becoming a problem and challenge for us as a management team, because now we are not in office. The complete team is working remotely, and also uh, when the team is not ready to work remotely, I mean, of course, you guys can understand. You guys were not ready to study remotely, right? And there might have many challenges. Similarly, my team was not ready to, work remotely. In fact, not everyone in the team was so mature that they can interact remotely and get their problems sorted. So when we started, was a very kind of noisy work environment, like a lot of calls, a lot of problem solving meetings, etc. But now with the time we have learned, and we are trying to scale. The thing is, with the growth we have reached, and with the kind of project we are getting, for example, Allianz I talked about, right? So it's one of the I mean, complex project we have done, but also you are dealing with very important people globally, and you need your team to be mature enough to talk to those people, right? And my team is, to be honest, very young. For instance, the project Allianz was, I was handling myself. Okay, but again, now we have another similar project. So recently we got request from Kohler. It's a French company, and it's again one of the big companies. Kind of the valuation of 10 billion or so. And again, the people we are talking about, I cannot be involved at detail level on every project, or my co-founder, he cannot be involved. So, and the project managers, or the team we have is not, I would say they are young, they're doing pretty good job, but at the same time, we need people with more experience, more maturity. And this is how it is becoming a challenge. We don't know, how to hire. I mean, of course, we have now people who are like, more experienced than us. They have better exposure, working exposure, but still, this overall project size is becoming a problem, and we are kind of scared that, what if we fail, because it will again, I mean, once you feel a client, you create a bad reference, right? And services world is very sensitive as well at the same time. Okay, when you are going to be awarded a project, they will ask for 5 references. Okay, they will ask for 5 references from the similar size company. So so these are the challenges. I mean, at every level you have to solve challenges. It's a positive challenge, I would say, right? So that's there in service sector. Now the other part of the word, which is product. So so we always have this motivation to do product, but services has really worked well for us, and we are lucky over there, I would say. And our strategies has been working, I would say. But product was something we had some idea. We worked on some ideas. For example, I worked for in products like Artivare, TechTed, and then similarly, my co-founder Vid, he was CTO of a company, RankWatch. He himself worked on some startups in early days. So we always have this product mindset. So now what we have done is, and in fact, this has been now successful. I mean, the last time I was talking to students, and right now when I'm talking to you guys, in this, I would say, I don't know, but it was 6 7 months, and we have been successfully able to, sell some product. Okay, so for example, one of our product is the OpenDXP. So DXP is a very very kind of hot topic in digital marketing segment. And what we do is that we collect data, customer data, okay, and we have created a platform called the OpenDXP using some open source technologies. Okay, so say for example, we have used Apache Unomi, which is a customer data platform by this Apache. I mean, it's very much open source. You can use it. So we use this open source platform, and then we have enhanced it. We have built a front end for this entire framework, and this is something we were successfully sell to Dr. Reddy's. So we had a couple of meetings, and we are already working on this product. And the meeting was for something different. They came to us for a site which was pretty simple application. And then we were able to show them that, hey, look, this is what we are also doing, and this is a great application we have built. Obviously, you have not even completed your 60% of the product. Even the POC is not ready, but you start talking about it like you have already done it, right? Every entrepreneur does it. So we started doing it. They were, one of the guy was quite impressed that we also tried it. I mean, and we had some question answer session. We said, look, we can show you a POC. Give us 10 days, something like this. This 10 days were really hard days. We spent a lot of time, and we were able to come up with this first prototype of the product, and then we successfully were able to sell it for annual subscription for a good amount. So the first product which we built is already, its first subscription is already sold, and we are working on the, and once it is finalized, we will scale this sales process. So we kind of, sometimes you get $1 million idea and it works, right? But the percentage is very less, right? Uh, so we kind of tried to formulate it, right? How to take it step by step, take it forward so that we don't fail ourselves, because most of us belong to a background where we have expectations associated, right? You go to college, and then your parents start imagining about, how much you are going to achieve and what you are going to do. I mean, a lot of expectations, I would say, right? So you cannot ask them to wait for so long, because they have been kind of, this is the most important investment a parent, I mean, they can do during their life. So for us, earning some value, some money, getting our salaries were also important. Okay, so we took this route. We formulated it that let's do it step by step. Okay, let's start doing services. Okay, let's learn the technology, because okay, you don't know all the technologies, right? While doing the product, you learn a lot of new things, and you learn a lot of new, or immediate ways of doing the things. So similarly, while doing the client projects, we learned how to work on project strategies, how to finish a product, how to come up with a product which will actually be used. Okay, and similarly, we formulated that once a product, you understand that the product is working, okay, and can work, then because you have done it for client, you can do it as a product also, right? And sometimes your part of the team is free. Why not utilize them to work on a product? So this was the strategy. Services is, I would say, I mean, with our expectation, it's doing good. Of course, we have to scale it, and yeah, I mean, there is no limit of scaling. But at the same time, we are very much into the product. This OpenDXP is one of the product we are launching. TechTude is another product which is again in EdTech, and it's coming up. I mean, it's already live, but the new version is coming up soon. So when I say soon, it was supposed to be in the last month itself, but it always extends. So it has extended, and this week is the final deadline where we are coming up with this new version. So this is how kind of I have reached to the current position, and I think it would be good if I kind of start asking your questions if you have any specific point, or that's how probably we should proceed further. So maybe Manoj sir can also tell me like where to add or where to emphasize.
Yeah, let us try to take some questions because time is short. Students may have a class after that. So
Okay, yeah.
go ahead and ask some question if you have.
I have a
Yes.
question. Uh,
Yeah.
Mhm,
so what, like you are a bit more on the technical side. So when in college, what were the
mhm.
technical skills that we are constantly acquiring? Like, I can only
Okay.
guess that you can do all these things if you have a quite amount of technical knowledge when
Mhm.
you are starting. And so, what about that?
So so things has little changed. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's probably just 5 years when I was in college, and I mean now the things has changed. So I can give you, advice with current scenario. What you can do is, uh, so now there can be two things, right? One is that you come up with a brilliant idea, which is kind of new, or when I say new, it can either explore the new possibility in the existing market, or you can create market for yourself. Okay, so either you come up with that sort of idea, or else second one is that on the existing idea you have certain improvement, some product idea which can improve some operation, etc. If I talk about, let's say, education, okay, so education, all the successful edtech companies are right now working on the delivery of the education, right? So say, consider Byju's, okay, they are kind of making the delivery easy, the content delivery easy, right? So earlier, if you want to reach to a good teacher, you have to say maybe migrate to some other city. But right now, wherever you are, you can, you have the reach to good content. So they have worked on deliveries. Similarly, other aspect could be the means of education itself, right? Like for example, the way the lecture is delivered is still same. We used to deliver in the classroom on the blackboard. Now some different technology is used, but it's same, right? The way we teach. So that can be another innovation where people can spend time and do it. So my point is that you don't have to, expert of all the technologies. Okay, but if you want to start in tech, yes, you should know how to manage your team. That's very important. And especially if you are starting as a team, it's important that you or your co-founder is able to build a small prototype at least, right? I mean, you cannot hire someone to build prototype for you unless you have some backup. So it should be just that much is required, that you are able to build a small prototype by yourself. And for that, you have, now the scenario is that you have n number of frameworks available, right? You don't have to kind of start scratch and build everything. So say for example, Drupal is a very good technology to learn and start building prototype. Okay, so it's, I mean, if you look at it, maybe you can just get this perception that it's a framework to build a website, but it's much more than what it looks from the top. So say for example, it is completely restful. So you can use Drupal as the backend to build application. Okay, and then you can expose API to your mobile app, to your front end React app or Angular app. Okay, so learn small frameworks which are easy to kind of customize while building the prototype. Don't care a lot about what would be the scalability. Okay, what is, say for example, you are trying an idea. Now while trying it for the first time, don't get much bothered about what will happen when you have 1 million user. Okay, so I read it somewhere again, and I really liked it, that it's called It's called Yagni, principle Yagni. Yagni is you are not gonna need it. So sometimes as a techie, we spend a lot of time thinking about, such problems which are which are far-fetched, right? You might have this problem, let's say, while using initial set of, technology, you are very much conscious whether I should use MySQL, okay, whether I should use MySQL or whether I should go for, let's say, Mongo, okay, or let's say some other non-relational database. Now, it doesn't matter at early stage. All it matters is that you want to try your idea, and whatever is simple, you do it. Okay, you are, of course, I mean, whatever you build, okay, when things scale and if it works for you, you have to rebuild it. Okay, it is true for any application. So don't bother much, just pick few technology to learn which can help you build prototype, and that's about it. You cannot learn possibly everything. I mean, that was at least
Let's
my
see if there are other questions. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a
So
question, sir.
okay,
Hello,
you can
Pratik
go
sir,
ahead.
I'm Tushar.
Mhm.
So I have a small question that, let's say, as you were also telling that it was hard for you in the initial months when you were trying to get that first project, but somehow
Mhm.
you innovated and managed ways to get it and then move on from there. So while,
Right.
let's say, in college, when you're building, say, a B2B SaaS startup, so how
Mhm.
should we approach and even convince a potential B2B client to pilot a product through their business, a product which we have the prototype ready, but we haven't
Mhm.
completely built the product yet. Oftentimes,
So,
like we send
mhm.
emails to these founders, but it like goes unread and they don't even reply.
True.
So, what would be your advice on that?
Right. So what we do is, there is a good difference that you must show your work. Okay. And I mean, there is another part that you must not show off. So the first part is you must show your work. So you must have seen this trend on, LinkedIn, that people have started like showing small video or small prototype over there. So I think the first step should be to complete at least one portion of it, not the entire product. Okay, just find out which one is the most important feature. Okay, because unless you have something working now, even I mean, right now, for example, you have a number of VCs, right? In early days, in fact, now VCs are competing for good founders, right? but but they still need a small prototype, working prototype. Okay, they are now very scared of investing in ideas. I mean, there was a time few years I would ago when people start investing in idea. I mean, they like the idea and they invest, but they still do it. Okay, the idea should be foolproof, but at the same time, because you don't have the background, okay, so probably they won't be too much inclined to work on just the idea. So you must try finding a way to build a small prototype which will at least should cover a single feature, I would say. Yeah, did I answer your question?
Sure, sir. There's another part to this question that
Hmm.
once you have, let's say, the prototype ready, now how do
Hmm.
you like approach and convince the B2B clients to pilot your product? Because you don't have it completely ready, and it's we who
Um,
want
mhm,
some sort of
mhm,
value from them, and they are not
mhm.
losing out on something.
Right. So, this is something is very, very contextual. Okay. It depends on your product. Uh, we did something, during our initial phase, even as services. I can mention that probably help. So, so for instance, Allianz was not a client who will, sign contract with us, okay, with OpenSense. So what? Because again, in Europe, you have a lot of GDPR restrictions and a lot of constraints over, hiring a supplier as well. Okay, so so what we did, we found a company who were looking for a digital partner. They can work with them for a project in of Allianz. Okay, So this company we found is another European company. It's Loyalty Prime. Okay, and they were good enough to partner with Allianz. Okay, and we became a subcontractor. Okay, so Allianz was not reachable directly. We became subcontractor. We reached to them, and then we are registered with them as a provider on their portal, and now we can directly approach them, right? So you can probably
Right.
find the solution steps, similar partners you can find who have, let's say, one solution, but they they will also be complete with your solution. Okay, and they can help you reach to the bigger client. That can be one way of solving it, but again, I mean, it's very contextual. It might be very contextual to your product as well.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, sir.
Hello, I have a question.
Mhm.
Hi, Preetam. Actually, it's a great talk, and I was just surfing through the website OpenSense Lab, and it's
Mhm.
quite fascinating to see the range of things that can be done with Drupal. And one thing
Yeah.
that caught my attention was the personalization and the CRO aspect. So I just
Mhm.
wanted to know very briefly if you have done any project and you can shed some light on how you can go about uh, dealing with the aspect of personalization and CRO using Drupal. If you can share some insight there.
Right. So as I said, this OpenDXP, okay, OpenDXP is one of the product which is focused on personalization. Okay. So personalization is all about, collecting the data. Then you segment the users based on their, browsing behavior or their history. Okay. And for that, you will have to collect the data at every probably single event. So we use this. I mean, if you want to work, you must explore this Apache Unomi, which is a framework by Apache for customer data platform. So we use internally it uses Elastic to store data. Okay, so we used Apache Unomi. We have a small ML team. So we had one guy who worked on user segmentation. Okay, and using that the personalization is achieved with Drupal. Okay, so what we are doing, let's say Drupal has a segment. Okay, and Drupal is referring to Apache Unomi in order to make decision whether I should show this block to this user or not, and user is already segmented. Okay, and based on the segment there are some defined rules. So this is quite fascinating. Like all the open source technologies, Drupal itself is open source, and Drupal has this, even the commerce version of it where you can build e-commerce site. So using Drupal, and we have API to OpenDXP, which is helping Drupal to make decision. So again, the all personalization aspect is handled um, with Apache Unomi.
All right, great. And I just wanted to follow up on that quickly. Do you also create content to show it to users, or just look after what to target and who to target?
No, you don't create content. Okay, so content is already there. You are making decision. Okay, that what to show, what to target. So as I said, based on for example your Amazon purchase history, you get some some suggestion, but that's purely based on history and similarity. But based on similarly, you can make decision based on all your browsing behavior. Okay, so say for example, if I think there is an background noise. Yeah, thank you. So, say for example, there can be two very different things which are not similar but technically linked. So, for example, there is a good research with diaper and beer. Okay, so beer is quite opposite and diaper, right? But they were very similar. And uh, say somebody is buying beer, you can show diaper to the person, and it works. There is no logic. I cannot tell you, but it comes from the algorithm. It shows that it is similar, and you can show, and it works. So that's where machine learning comes into picture, right? So with the behavior analysis and user segmentation, all these decisions can be made.
Sure. So if I have to rephrase that, is it also, I think it's quite similar to like creating a sort of recommendation system, but here
Yeah.
we are not showing the recommendation directly to the users. Rather, we are using those recommendations to fire different contents to different categories of users from our side.
Yes, I mean, partially yes, but I mean, this users are also, I mean, I quite lost the last part. You're saying you're not, come again, please. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, in the recommendation system, typical recommendation system, we usually
Mhm.
show certain recommendations to the users directly. For
Right,
example, in
right,
Amazon or Netflix. But here
right.
we are not showing the users recommendations because we are targeting them directly using those, I mean, recommendations that we have. That this particular segment is more susceptible to these sort of contents, and we can fire it towards them.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, again, it's more like, uh, I mean, as I said, like just tapping on the user's behavior, okay, and letting your algorithm decide which one is the best product, and then you just show hide the content, okay. So that's how it is.
Okay, anyone else? If anybody has class, I can quit and attend class. If there are questions, we can continue.
Sir, if I may ask another one,
Mm-hmm.
uh, actually I have I have a lot of interest in the edtech sector myself. It was great to see you talking about that as well. So I was more curious about what are the different types of products, for example, that you're working on in the edtech sector, and also if you can talk about the upcoming one as well, and what's the name and what is it about.
So one of the product is kind of it is one of the first idea as well, but it was for quite some time. It was in the cold box. It's basically um, 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 the name is Tector.com. It's live in fact right now, but we are changing the model. Like we want to democratize the way institutions or different I would say for example Byju's, right? So Byju's is selling content. They select their teachers, right? Now everybody, for example, every single student has reached uh, to the single teacher which is promoted by Byju's, right? So now how do you want to help other teachers to kind of find the student? Say for example, my point is every if and this edtech pricing is also affordable, right? I mean the pricing, because they can scale, they can sell at cheaper price, right? And they can sell the same content to multiple users. So and the idea behind TechTed is to build a kind of open platform for teachers where they can um, um, basically uh, conduct their classes without the intervention of any third party or any administrator. Okay, so it's a very so Moodle, right? You guys use Moodle. During our time, at least, we were using it. So we also had one of this LMS in KGP. It's Intino. I'm sure it's not being used right now. So Intino was quite good during our time, okay, and somehow the support was being removed when I was leaving, and it is no more used, I guess. But you guys can confirm. So so Intino was very much focused, and it was built with right mindset, I would say. Moodle is quite vast, and at the same time, I find it not user friendly. Moodle has another version which is called Torcha or something. So they are enterprise LMS and they sell it. It's not open source. So our idea is to kind of build, say for example, Google Classroom, right? So Google Classroom has a lot of things, but again, it's very much restricted and not quite adequate for having a good class conducted at the same time, quiz, etc. So in our classroom platform, we have integration with say for example, this Microsoft Teams or Zoom, whatever you want to use, you integrate or you create live lectures there. And the classroom, other instrument of the classroom, like quiz, challenges, courses, interactive videos, all those are the components of that. So that's kind of vague picture I'm trying to plot here, that it's more towards building a LinkedIn for education, if I have to just give you one liner.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating. Thanks a lot. Also, if you can just type the name, sorry I didn't get the name. I just wanted to look up for that.
Definitely. So it's basically, it was from technical student two words, and we kind of chat is not enabled here, right? So
Sure,
it's
sure.
TECH, it's TECHTUD.com.
Got
tech.
it. Thank you.
and
Yeah,
TUD.
yeah, thanks.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else to ask a question? We have crossed the time and many have left. Now we have from 195, the number is 118.
So, what we are going to do is we anyway have internship program as well. I'm not sure. Because the things are very remote, we are also trying to adapt. If some of you are interested in learning Drupal, okay, for your kind of build for, let's say, building prototype or trying your ideas, it's a handy tool. Okay, the thing you can achieve with other framework. Other frameworks are also there. I won't compare that it's very much optimized, but I find it quite easy to learn and quite quite quickly you can build a prototype. Okay, it has, I think, thousands of pre-built modules available which you can just install and your feature is ready. Okay, so say for example course, right? Even in edtech, so for course there is a module available in Drupal, and once you install, the course is ready, the course feature is ready. So and then of course you should learn customization, because all the default features are not going to achieve your target. So we'll start it, and maybe I'll share it with Manoj sir, and if you guys are, some of you are interested, you can definitely try it.
Okay, I think we'll call it a day. Thank you, Pritham, so much. It's really pleasure having you here, and your experience actually counts a lot for the students, because you are in the same generation. You have begun the way students are now trying to begin. So there is so much of similarity. That is why I like your talk with the students so much. Thank you very much for readily accepting. I told you only yesterday, and I could organize that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Have a nice day. Bye.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.